Out to Vincent for the Jackets, taking on the Warriors, a battle of Ohio against West Virginia. Early in the first, and the first points of the game belong to Nick Cressy. A tough finish at the rim. Yellow Jackets now headed the other way as Jaden Bryant spins past Chase Lapardis and gets the bucket. It's 4-4. Now Lapardis gets the ball inside, works his way under the basket, and gets it to go, as well as drawing a foul. Warriors grab the lead. Cruz isolate, shakes his defender, gets to the paint where he drops a nice floater with some finesse. Then to the end of the first half, and here's Wyatt Powell with a pump fake, one dribble pull-up, and it's good. Jackets trying to get back into it. To the second half, and it's Bryant taking it hard to the hole and getting the difficult finish to go. Lapardis now on the drive, and he's going to somehow get this and one to fall here. Not even he can believe that one. It's 52-35 Warren. Later second half, Nick Cressy finds Lapardis under the rim. He gets his defender in the air, calmly lays it in. Warriors go on to beat Williamstown 67-46. On to the last game of the clash today. It's the Warren girls versus Federal Hawking. Let's pick it up late in the first as Mackenzie James McGuire takes the inbounds pass and banks home the close-range jumper. Lady Warriors down by 10. Here's some nice passing from the Lady Lancers. Michaela Nelson to Addison Jackson, who puts it in. Fedhawk extends the lead. Takira Walker now driving baseline and hitting the floater over the outstretched arms of James McGuire. Early in the second quarter, as James McGuire skips it cross court to Riley Arnold, and she connects on the mid-range jumper. It's 18-7 Lady Lancers, though. Here's Jackson in the corner with a pump fake, then one dribble into a pull-up, and it's true. We go later in the second now as Sarah Petty finds Abby Wells. She banks in the easy layup here. In second half action now is Arnold. She'll dish to Petty, and she finds herself wide open under the hoop and dropping it in. James McGuire attacking, and she'll hit a nice spin move in the post and flip it in from close range. Lady Warriors, though, still down 16. Lady Lancers back on offense. Brenly Cottrell hits Jackson in the corner for another three. Federal Hawking wins this one 68-35.